Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. I'm getting better. I was a little bit sick and I thought I'm going to do a little impromptu video just to share my February cards. And I'm sharing because maybe some of you will find it inspiring. Before I go into the cards, I just want you to take a look at this beautiful Mary. It's made by Mia Mania Manufacture. She's in Poland and I'm going to leave her a link below, and she has made it for me last year at some point, and I had to wait for the spring to come to fully appreciate, the beauty of her, the abundance of plants and greens and flowers. It's so gorgeous. I added that little rose myself and I just think she is beautiful. So she's here with one of my Manus skulls. It's an aquamarine skull I also got a long time ago from Manus, from Ivo, a couple of years ago. I just love him. He's the ancient whisperer, So my cards of the month were actually quite spot on. So if you have watched my previous video, or I'm not sure, maybe that was for the subscribers only. If you're not a subscriber to my newsletter, please do sign up, because sometimes I send video newsletters rather than regular newsletters, and as you know, I'm very irregular in posting anything. I don't really have much of a plan here. So don't be bothered that I'm going to send you newsletters every week or something, or twice a week. No, it's coming very irregularly. Then please do sign up. The link is in the bottom in the description box. Okay, let's go into this one. So this is the Azure Vault, and this is from the Wild Unknown from the Alchemy deck. And I pulled this that was around winter solstice, on winter solstice, and that was for the first 3 quarters, so till spring equinox. I'm keeping the same card, and sorry, specifically in January that was very spot on for me, because I have had a lot of interesting experiences, and I read a lot and I listened to a lot of talks and interviews with Julie Kuchia-Watts and with Amber, and just read a lot about astral traveling and dreams, and had some visions myself as well. So this card speaks about different worlds, different realities, and often blue is used when there is kind of astral traveling happening. The archetype card that I got for February was Gnosis. And when I just, wanted to remind myself what Kim Krans wrote about it, it was innermost knowing and mystic truths. So when light, it was about contemplating the mystery, unanswerable questions, which actually totally happened to me, and over-intellectualizing and literalizing, asking others. That both of those options really happened in February. So in the newsletter I also mentioned this, but I got really fascinated with constellational astrology, and I managed to get this cool deck in. It's called the Box of Stars, and I just, it has these huge cards. It has these huge cards, and they have holes in the spaces of the stars. And I have been exploring constellation astrology, and also the 13th sign that is on the ecliptic, which is the Ophiuchus, so the serpent bearer. And the stars or the constellations are just dotted stars, the images, and they came at some point, humans added them. If it was always a man bearing the serpent, maybe, who knows? The history is written by the winners, and definitely by men. So we never know. It could be also a woman holding a snake, right? But yeah, serpent bearer or serpent charmer is the name of the constellation. Also, it was called Serpentius as well, Serpentarius, you know. But I just found it really fascinating when you start kind of adding the dots. It's between Scorpio and Sagittarius constellations. It actually takes a bit more space on the ecliptic than Scorpio itself, and you can see it, like the Scorpio only kind of has its like face on the ecliptics, and then below is the rest of it. But it's quite a bright constellation with Antares as the fixed star as part of the Scorpio constellation. Of Fucus, it's not really that bright. Maybe that's why we cannot find too much information on any ancient culture actually using Ophiuchus or serpent bearer in the astrological or astronomical. I mean, people, they list it, but it's never really used in correlation with science or with astrology. But it's just fascinating that it's a 13 constellations, like 13, you know, death in tarot. It's this kind of Friday the 13th. It's hidden, it's there, but it's not there. It's of course connected to a snake, so it already brings to mind the sacred feminine. Of course, people who like do a lot of research on this Ophiuchus constellation are kind of laughing it off, you know, that, oh yeah, the feminists, you know, they're going for it, and of course they find it because there's a snake, it's a goddess connection and so on. But you know, why the fuck not? It could be the goddess connection for you know, for my liking, of course. It has to do with snake, it has to do with 13, it has to do with something hidden, it has to do something that's there but it's not really being used. You know, it's just a lot of ticks that go into it. So anyway, that's the card Gnosis or Gnosis that comes to mind, because Gnosis to me also, you know, it's like holistic understanding. It's the wisdom that you bring to your knowledge, right? And kind of look like, I don't know, just looking at the situation from the bird view, but also from the depth of it and from all the angles. And it's just fit because over intellectualizing, yes, I've done it, but also getting to like unanswerable questions. You know, it's really difficult to actually use these 13 signs because there's not so many programs on it. Even Vedic astrology went into the simplification mode and has 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 houses. Historically, they were always done in 12 just because it's probably easier to manage. Or maybe the Ophiuchus constellation wasn't so easy to see because it's not as bright, so maybe ancients actually didn't use it for no conspiracy reasons, you know, who knows. So this is the Gnosis card that came up really interestingly. Perfect. How interesting all these spirals and that divine feminine again, and the, you know, constellations as like portals into the stars. I'm going to link my affiliate link, and this is for Carney's Door. You know, I've done some work with Carney before. Some of you have come to the webinars or bought the webinars that we did together. But Carney has an astrology school, and if you know astrology, you can get this one module that I got. It's called the New Astrology, where Carney teaches a little bit about, there's like six classes, and she goes through the realms, and she goes through 12 signs, so she doesn't use Ophiuchus, but she uses 12 signs, but she renames them, and she explains quite a lot about energetics of how she uses astrology. It's pretty fascinating. So if you are, you know, interested in checking out her approach, you can also check her, you know, astrology deck, because she has the realms named in her astrology cards, the holistic astrological cards, which is actually really cool deck. Even if you're not interested in depths of it, this is a really cool oracle to use because it's quite intuitive. It's cool artwork, kind of expansive, but also intuitive. Really brilliant color, it's well made. I love the paper of it, so you can check it out by Carney. And yeah, if you ever decide to buy the course, you know, why not help me at the same time and use my affiliate link? We have a like deal with Carney that I'm going to get some money back as well if somebody finds out about the course through me. I suggested rather to people who have some knowledge of astrology, even though it's a new take, but the course actually uses already quite a depth of information, and it's based on like basic knowledge of astrology. So I wouldn't recommend it maybe to the course, the new astrology course, because Carney has the whole school, like different courses. But I just done the new astrology course, and yeah, I would suggest it rather for people who know about astrology and maybe are looking to expand or, you know, deepen their knowledge or change some systems. So anyway, that was my card of the month together with the Ace of Swords. So both pretty airy in some way, astrologically at least, but how fascinating that the star came up, and I was all about the fucking stars in February. Seriously, I went onto the rabbit hole of research. I'm still in it. I have learned so much about the true sidereal astrology, about sidereal astrology, tropical astrology. All systems are fine. I'm just trying to pick the right for me and actually maybe even mix the two, or not mix, but make a offering for people that they can get the benefit of both, because I think that's really interesting how you can combine the systems. So the star in this particular image from Margaret Peterson Tarot is just so amazing, because it speaks about like stars being like portals of energy, you know, and us really resonating with the vibes of what's going on, what's above, so below. So that's why I would love my astrology to be a little bit more connected to the real sky actually. And I really highly recommend to check out the interview I have done with Julie Cuccia Watts, where we talk about astrology a lot, and we chatted for 2 hours. So I'm sorry guys, it's just where we couldn't stop. So please take a look. It's on Inspired Tarot Map. It's in the, you know, playlist, or you can find it on my channel on the feed, or if you go into the live tabs. So it also fit this whole kind of kabang with the stars and gnosis and constellations with the Ace of Swords, because it was like new beginnings, something new, something fresh, lots of research, lots of ahas, lots of eurekas, lots of this kind of wows. And I'm kind of still in it. So Tough Tarot didn't disappoint. And how interesting was my plant for February, which also feels to be a little bit like Ace of Swords, you know, same kind of image. We also have ginkgo tree, and it's Mars and Uranus. So it's quite interesting that Uranus came up, because that's very star, and we could say maybe very Uranian, and it's very astrological in some way. But there's also Black Crow, and I love looking at this oracle actually very intuitively. I love the imagery of it. Ginkgo is one of those trees that really brings us mental clarity as well, and it's strong, and it speaks about breakthrough. So yeah, it fit very well with all the theme of me going for the stars, really. So I just wanted to share, before I finish here with my cards, that I received this new deck, which is called Mirror of Mama Shamana, and it's such a cool little deck. I know they've been around for a while, but you know, I never really had it. I looked at it. So you get this like 50 something cards. I will do a review of it, but it's women's metaphor cards. So you get the original artwork. Sometimes they're from fairy tales, sometimes they just like intuitive drawings. And you get some of these like strange sentences, so they like haikus, you know, her skin changes its shade, her hands repeat the curves of every wave, it's clear that today is bringing plenty, and so on. So yeah, you would pull an image and you'd pull like a little saying for it. So every sound has softened twice as soft, and you would try and make sense out of it. And sometimes it's easier, other times it's not. Sometimes you might maybe need help, but it's really, I love those decks because they really make my brain kind of tweak and shape and go, what can I think of this, you know? And I like these mental exercises. as much as I like studying and learning new things. So I'm going to share about this more. Just wanted to mention it. This dude, or dudess, Yarrow, was one of my plant allies that came when I was sick. And I really think it helped me a lot. So I pulled Yarrow from a lot of decks, herbal decks that I have. And I was just reading about it. I also was taking Yarrow tincture, or not tincture, sorry, the flower essence and sunflower as well. I just needed some, you know, sunshine. So yeah, just throwing it in there. But thanks for watching, guys, and I speak to you soon. Let me know what you think about monthly cards in general. Do you do that? Do you practice? How was your February? Speak to me. Bye.